I'm Kriya Gangiah, and this is GTH Racing. You might know it by its previous name, Super 6 Racing, but this year it is back, it is bigger, and it is better. And joining me is Neil Andrews. Neil, tell me when all of this is happening.
Well, Kriya, first of all, it is fantastic to be here. Really a pleasure to be with you guys. And I want to tell the folks out there that the worldwide premiere of the GTH series will take place in Durban, South Africa, in August and September of this year, 2022. Since the partnership between GTH and Gold Circle, who manage the Hollywood Bets Gravel racecourse, has been established, Gold Circle have added 4 night meetings to the official racing calendar. Those dates being, and time to mark it with a pen in your diary, 5th of August, 12th of August, 19th of August, and the 2nd of September.
Okay, Neil, so it's a brand new format, something different, additional races. There's got to be someone behind this new sprucing.
I'm glad you said different. It is totally different, and it's all about rejuvenating the sport. And speaking of that, GTH is backed by Super 6 Racing Limited, a UK-registered business made up of a handful of ardent racing supporters who have long believed that the horse racing industry and the product needs rejuvenation. Over the years, they've tested and trialled innovative approaches with a view to broadening the appeal of horse racing to meet the action-seeking expectations of new audiences, something that fits into the audience's time constraints and matches reduced attention span.
It's going to be a very interesting, very fast-paced, fun event.
You hit the nail on the head. Fast, fun, we love it.
Yes, it's going to be really cool. And to introduce us a little bit more about, more about the sport is Angus Campbell, and he leads the South African component of GTH. Angus, welcome to the show.
Thank
and
you.
You've done a lot of research when it comes to kind of going into the background of the program, how the horse racing is going to be. Tell us a little bit more about the event.
So, as you guys have correctly stated, it's fast-paced. It's unusual, it's interesting, but I think the key thing is that it's team-based, which is a big change, as Neil will know, for horse racing. So team-based action hasn't really been done before, pretty much anywhere in the world.
If I can just pick up on that, on the team aspect, Angus, it's a lot easier to follow, actually, for newcomers to racing. I mean, I know, because I've brought a lot of people to racing, it can get a bit confusing, traditional racing. This is far simpler, so we're going to have 3 teams, and frankly, if you just want to shout your yellow team or your red team or your blue team, you can do that.
Absolutely. Same as you would for your football team or your cricket team or your soccer team, you can support your team. And if we had to compare it to those sports, it's a little bit like T20 for cricket, sevens for rugby, that kind of vibe. It's the same old sport, but in sort of a quicker format, more easy to understand format, and hopefully a more fun format.
So Angus, where's all of this coming from? Where's the concept coming from?
So as Neil mentioned, the team in the UK have felt for many, many years that we need to bring some innovation to the sport. So last year we had our seed funding approved, and we did a whole bunch of trials at Summerveld in Natal, and we did our final trials at Durban Gravel. And it went really, really well. And based on what we achieved there, we got our funding for the first full series, which is what's happening this year in August and September.
But this is not going to replace your normal average horse racing. This is something new and different.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kriya, I think the key thing is that we're trying to promote and build the racing industry. Yeah, we are the T20 of the sport, if you like, but what that's done for cricket is that it's made more people watch cricket across the board. And that's what we're hoping to do for racing. We hope to have more trainers involved, more owners, more fans, more money coming into the sport. So the idea is that we're going to benefit racing from the bottom to the top for all stakeholders.
You mentioned earlier on, we can bring our families to racing, and that's something that you can't always do in other racing environments. But you have a special initiative which really goes down to the grassroots of having a junior series.
Yeah, so Neil, what we did is we researched other sports around the world, and what they all do across the board is they engage with children from a very young age. And even though most of those children will never go on to play those sports professionally, they remain lifelong fans. So racing had a problem because most fans only start watching racing when they're 18. So we've started working with the junior leagues. We've created a junior league, all the riding schools across the country to have GTH junior riders, and they will literally do riding, GTH junior riding in different age levels as you would as a normal jockey. So even if you don't go on to become a professional jockey, you'll be a fan of the sport for the rest of your life.
How does the point system exactly work? Is it very similar to maybe a Formula One? Does the best jockey get the most amount of points?
Yep, so same as Formula One, you have two competitions, if you like. You have the team competition, which is for us the most important. So the winning team on the night is declared the winner and will go through to the next round. We also have what's called the Riders' Cup, or in fact we call it the Night Riders' Cup because our races take place at night. And the jockey with the most points each night becomes the night rider of that evening. And then the jockey with the most points at the end of the series is the champion jockey or night rider for the series.
Yeah, I can see myself dressing up as David Hasselhoff as being
We'll get
the
you a
official
talking
Night
car
Rider
as well.
kit.
Yes.
Yes. What do you think of my kit, by the way? I think it's pretty good. I just want to say what the beauty of the night, by the way, is there's a few curved balls because we want it to be fun. So there's races with double points, aren't there? So there's a few twists and turns along the way.
Yeah, so it's all about a game of strategy. So we have a team manager, and what the team manager has to do is he or she will take their team of jockeys and allocate them to the pool of horses in their team. Now, because we only do races every 18 minutes, it means the jockeys can only ride in every second race. So normally jockeys will ride, get off and ride directly in the next race. That's not possible with GTH racing because it's so fast paced. So the team manager has to make sure they've got the right jockeys on the right horses to try and win the game. And what the team manager also has to do is they've got to choose one of the races to double up their points. If they get that right, obviously the team's going to be in a really strong position. You get that wrong, not so great.
The ultimate question is why promote this type of horse racing?
So Neil, great question. So we've been involved in horse racing events for, well, a long time, not as long as you, but well over 10 years. And we brought thousands and thousands of people to race days. And one of the problems we had is that they came for the fashion, the parties, the music, but they weren't watching the racing. So that's what this is all about, is that when they come to this, they're going to watch the racing. They're going to support their team. We want them to leave as racing fans, and we think that'll move over into the big race days.
Okay.
Then they'll go to the Met, the July, etc., and they'll watch the racing at those events.
So now how do I, who's sitting at home, I'm not at the race meet, how do I get involved? Because I also want to support my team.
So what's also unusual, or a first if you like, is that SuperSport are broadcasting all of these race meetings live from start through to finish. Because they're fast paced, we get 8 races in 2.5 hours. So that's really, I mean,
I love that.
Neil,
No, because a lot of people do go to traditional racing. To be fair, they can get bored between races. Which is probably why you end up at the bar and not watching the races. But this is fast-paced, as you say, every 18 minutes, incredible.
18 minutes, and obviously because it's team-based, it's about the whole family. Right. So we want kids, boys, little girls, moms, dads, uncles, aunts, all supporting their team.
Something that Kriya said to me, she said one of the exciting things for her is the gamification of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
So what we've got is we've partnered with a company called Go for Gold. And while you're watching these live races happening, you can actually go onto our website and you can choose your own fantasy team and you can be the team manager yourself and play the game live, if you like.
There's a lot of technology that's coming into these races. We'll be able to see where the horse that we have picked is on the track at that specific time.
Yeah, so when we were doing the trials, we noticed that it could be a little bit confusing because your horse, your team might have won the race, but they might not have got the most points. So what we did is we brought some trackers in from France, and those trackers will actually show you which team is winning or losing during the race by adding up all the scores of the horses while they're running. So that means you can see straight away your team has won the race, or is winning the race, or it's come second or third. It basically just takes the maths behind the whole thing, simplifies it, and you as a fan can go, cool, we're winning, we're losing. Simple as that.
Take us through a little bit more about the teams and the jockeys you've assembled to ride in those teams.
So essentially we've got 9 jockeys per team, and Gold Circle, our racing operator, have allocated jockeys evenly across those teams. So then what happens is the horses get entered into our series, they get divided between those teams, and as I said earlier, the team manager, and this is the skill and the hard part, the team manager has to choose which jockey is riding on which horse in which race.
This can also become a franchise model in the future, so like a NBA or an NFL or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kriya, what the team-based format does for us is it opens up a whole host of revenue streams that weren't normally accessible for horse racing. So because you've got your teams, we can do what all the international franchise businesses do. We can sell merchandise. We can sell sponsorship to those teams. We then sell sponsorship to the series, and we can then sell those broadcast rights around the world. So essentially, whereas horse racing has been excluded from a lot of what these franchise businesses do, we can now do exactly what those businesses do. And the model and the plan for our business is that we can take this from South Africa into other parts of the world.
It's actually a lot simpler than even I suggested, because although there's 3 teams, on any given evening, there's only 2. It's a head-to-head match. So we have a couple of head-to-head matches before we get to the final. So in fact, there's not 3 teams tonight. It's actually simpler. So you're either red or blue, or red or yellow, or blue or yellow.
Absolutely. So I mean, just to take you back, we trialed many, many different formats. We had 6 teams racing at the same time. We had 3 or 4 teams racing at the same time. When we did the head-to-head, it just worked. It just popped. And the fans loved it. And when I say fans, I'm talking about a whole bunch of people who had never, ever been to a race day ever in their lives before. And they were shouting for their team from start right through to finish. So yeah, we do head-to-head, one team versus another team. And at the end of the 3 events, the 2 top teams, they play off in the final.
It's fascinating, Angus. So many exciting, innovative levels to it. You've mentioned about the fantasy side and the gamification, but there's other innovations as well.
Yeah, so Neil, what we're finding in international sports businesses now is that you have to be connected into the digital world. So the second part of our business in the UK is busy building our virtual world, if you like. So the same races that you'll see live, you're going to be able to play virtually. So we'll have virtual horses running in these digital races. So what's interesting about that is we can sell those horses, we can breed with those horses using blockchain NFT technology, and we can build on what we're doing. So what it means is between these live races, the game continues, if you like.
That's very cool.
Well, it's like Westworld comes to horse racing. I used to enjoy that Westworld.
Sims meets horse racing.
Something you've mentioned earlier on, that GTH racing is not in competition per se with the existing operation, but I want to just say to South Africans out there, we can be enormously proud of the South African racing industry that you've chosen to trial this here, Angus, because it's such a basically strong product. You've got good horses, good jockeys, and good administrators.
Absolutely, Neil. So as we mentioned earlier, it's a UK-based company that's funding all of this, but they feel that South Africa is a great place. It's a strong place in terms of horse racing, and this is the best place to trial this. And then if we get it right here, we can quickly take it around the world.
So just to recap, when is all of this happening? Because now I really want to watch it.
So the first 3 head-to-head meetings take place on Friday nights in August, the first 3 Friday nights in August, and then the final takes place on the first Friday night in September.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And Neil, you know what? I really don't think you're going to beat Alex.
Batong. Listen, let me tell you something. If it was, excuse the pun, cage fighting, he might have a chance. But he's got no chance when it comes to racing. This is the king of racing. So I will be choosing, not only, I'm not going to stick with the yellow and reds and blues. I'm going to be tipping the winners on the night and following them, the team.
Well, you know, maybe we can form an alliance, create 2 teams, and then we can beat him.
Not so sure I need any help, but you know what? If I'm behind, I'll definitely call on your assistance.
Oh, only if he's behind. It's okay. You know what? It's global team
How
horse
difficult can
racing.
it be? I mean, it's just either yellow or blue one night, or yellow or red or blue. Yeah, I mean, it's not that. It's not rocket
that
science.
difficult.
That's why there's an adrenaline rush, because it's about fun and it's easy to follow.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's global team horse racing, and we're presenting adrenaline-charged racing action. 3 teams go head-to-head over 3 Friday nights in August, culminating in a final showdown between the 2 teams with the highest points on Friday, the 2nd of September. This is horse racing reimagined, team-based, fast-paced, easy to understand, and you'll love this, Neil. It's all for the fun of it.
Well, absolutely. We cannot wait. The adrenaline, the fun, and bring it on.
Yep, we'll see you there. Cheers.